there's no way he'd get demolished. But for what he's doing, as long as they keep getting YouTubers and keep putting them in there with MMA guys,
Yes.
that's kind of over the hill, he's gonna continue to shine. It's go crazy. I remember just a while back, his brother was like, "Oh, I didn't get paid. It was just like I said before. He just want to keep his name out there. As long as he attaches his name to mine, he gonna keep my name out there."
Floyd Mayweather has shared his thoughts on the problems with the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Despite their 31-year age difference, Jake is scheduled to fight Mike on July 20th in a summertime match that is officially recognized as a sanctioned professional fight. With Tyson's return to the ring after such a lengthy hiatus, there are understandable uncertainties about his physical condition and preparedness to compete at a high level. Some observers have expressed apprehension about the potential risks involved in Tyson participating in a professional bout at his age and with his extended period away from active competition. In response to these concerns, Jake Paul has asserted that Tyson was the one who initiated the idea of having a professional fight against him. Paul claimed that Tyson personally reached out to members of his team to propose the bout, indicating his willingness and desire to engage in a sanctioned match. Jake Paul recently said on his YouTube channel, "They're just going to say, he's old and you disrespected him, and all that shit. But I just want to make it clear, Mike Tyson was the one who wanted it to be a pro fight. Mike got into training camp and called up people on my team and were like, let's do a pro fight. Is Jake down? Netflix was like, let's make it a pro fight, we're down." According to Paul, Tyson's involvement in training camp and his proactive efforts to arrange the fight demonstrated his genuine interest in facing Paul in a professional setting. Paul emphasized that he made sure to communicate to Tyson's team that he was fully committed to treating the fight as a serious competition, with no intention of holding back or treating it as anything less than a war. Paul's insistence on Tyson being the one to make the decision to proceed with a professional bout underscores his respect for Tyson's autonomy and agency in the matter. By ensuring that Tyson was fully aware of the stakes and implications of the fight, Paul aimed to uphold the integrity of the competition and honor Tyson's legacy as a boxing legend. Jake further added, "And I said to MVP co-owner Nakisa Badaria, if that's what Mike wants, that's fine. But make sure you tell Mike that there's no holding back. Whatever happens, happens, and this is war now. And if Mike's okay with that, then I'm okay with that. But I want Mike to be the one making this decision." Despite any criticism or controversy surrounding the decision to sanction the bout, Paul made it clear that he was prepared to approach the fight with utmost seriousness and determination. He reiterated his commitment to putting forth his best effort and competing at the highest level, regardless of the outcome or public opinion. He added, "I'm going in there, and now it's a pro fight, it's on my record, I'm going to fucking put him down. And if people are pissed about it, then watch soccer." Ben Shalom, a prominent boxing promoter, has voiced strong opposition to the prospect of Mike Tyson stepping into the ring for a professional bout against Jake Paul, particularly given Tyson's age. Shalom believes that allowing a 58-year-old to compete in a sanctioned professional boxing match would not only be inappropriate, but also detrimental to the integrity of the sport. Shalom said, "Having a 58-year-old in a professional boxing fight is clearly not professional, and that's where the line has to be drawn for these fights." In Shalom's view, while exhibition matches and entertainment-oriented events may have their place in the boxing world, sanctioning a professional fight involving a fighter of Tyson's age crosses a critical line. He argues that such a decision would effectively transform the bout into a circus act, undermining the credibility and legitimacy of professional boxing. He added, "It's okay for entertainment, but for me it's a major step too far. To make the bout professional, it is a circus act. You couldn't get anything more ridiculous." Shalom's concerns reflect broader apprehensions within the boxing community about the potential risks and implications of allowing older fighters to compete at the highest level. While Tyson's status as a legendary figure in the sport undoubtedly adds intrigue to the matchup, Shalom contends that the inherent dangers associated with professional boxing necessitate stricter standards and safeguards. Shalom added, "When you think about the dedication that fighters put into their professional craft, you don't want that to then be taken the piss out of. When they try to take each other's heads off, there are then a lot of medical risks for an older fighter, Tyson." By drawing attention to the age disparity between Tyson and his younger opponent, Shalom underscores the ethical and practical considerations at stake in sanctioning the bout. He asserts that, while entertainment value may be a priority for some, the primary concern should be ensuring the safety and well-being of the athletes involved. Notably, Shalom isn't the lone vigilant onlooker here. There's talk that if Paul lands a blow to Tyson's head, he could be in danger of a brain hemorrhage. Furthermore, Tyson might end up grappling with heart issues due to a radical shift in his training routine, which could spell grave health complications for the baddest man on the planet. Stephen Hughes, a senior lecturer in medicine at Anglia Ruskin University, emphasized in an article for The Conversation that due to Mike Tyson's age and history of alcoholism recovery, he is more susceptible to experiencing a subdural hematoma, a type of brain bleeding. Hughes said, in older people, the brain tends to lose volume. This lengthens the bridging veins and makes them more vulnerable to rupture. Bleeding from these torn veins causes a collection of blood that presses on the brain. This causes confusion, loss of consciousness, neurological disability, and in some cases, death. Apart from the health implications, there's a faction that views Tyson squaring off against Paul as a blemish on his storied career and his standing within the boxing world, particularly given the lengthy 19-year hiatus between matches. Richard Riakporhe, a British boxer, has also expressed deep concern. In an interview with TalkSport, Riakporhe conveyed his apprehensions, emphasizing the potential dangers associated with Tyson's return to professional competition. According to Riakporhe, allowing Tyson to compete at his age poses significant risks, both to Tyson himself and to the integrity of the sport of boxing. He lamented the idea of seeing a legendary figure like Tyson put in harm's way, suggesting that Tyson's time as a competitive athlete has come to an end. He said, "Mike is definitely in danger, and I think it is sad to see as a boxing fan. I fight, and I don't want to see a fellow boxer at that age. At 58, I just think he has had his time." Riakporhe's sentiments echo those of many boxing enthusiasts who view Tyson with reverence and admiration for his accomplishments in the sport. To witness Tyson potentially face defeat at the hands of a YouTube personality like Jake Paul would, in Riakporhe's view, tarnish the legacy of a boxing icon and diminish the sport's reputation. Riakporhe added, "I think Mike is done and should stay that way, but people will do what they want to do at the end of the day. I feel like it is just dangerous, and the idea of a YouTube boxer beating Mike Tyson is not a nice feeling for me." Moreover, Riakporhe underscored the inherent danger of a matchup between Tyson and Paul, highlighting the physical and psychological risks involved. As a fellow boxer, Riakporhe expressed empathy for Tyson and urged caution in allowing him to return to professional boxing. He further added, "He could have that on his record, and it is not nice as a boxing fan because we see Mike Tyson as a legend." Ultimately, Riakporhe's comments serve as a poignant reminder of the profound impact Tyson has had on the sport of boxing and the importance of safeguarding his legacy. As discussions surrounding the Tyson-Paul bout continue, voices like Riakporhe provide valuable perspective on the ethical and practical considerations at stake. Meanwhile, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith has voiced his strong disapproval of the upcoming professional boxing match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. In an impassioned statement, Smith expressed his sadness and disgust at the prospect of the bout, citing concerns over the age and experience of both fighters.
I'm saddened by it. I'm disgusted by it. I don't like it one bit.
Smith began by acknowledging Mike Tyson's legendary status in the sport of boxing, recognizing his years of greatness that have endeared him to fans worldwide. However, he emphasized Tyson's age, highlighting the fact that he is 57 years old and has not competed in a sanctioned professional bout in over 2 decades. Turning his attention to Jake Paul, Smith criticized the YouTuber-turned-boxer for his lack of credible opponents. In his professional boxing career thus far, he pointed out that Paul's most notable opponent to date has been Tommy Fury, who is not considered to be among the top-tier fighters in the sport.
I'm not taking anything away from the great Mike Tyson, who we all treasure because of the years of greatness he gave us, but he is 57. And in Jake Paul's case, you know, the only real fighter he's fought has been Tommy Fury.
Right.
You know, who's not, considered in the upper echelon in anybody's mind. Jake Paul has been training with professional boxing trainers for years, Shannon. When are you going to get in the ring with a modern-day, reputable fighter with a big name who isn't 20-plus years removed from retirement?
Smith questioned the legitimacy of the match, particularly given the absence of any real ranked professional boxers on Paul's resume, and Tyson's long hiatus from competitive boxing. He expressed frustration with the trend of celebrity boxing matches, arguing that they undermine the integrity of the sport by featuring matchups that lack credibility and significance. Smith called into question the decision to sanction the bout between Paul and Tyson, urging for a reconsideration of the criteria used to approve such matchups. He emphasized the importance of maintaining the integrity of professional boxing and ensuring that sanctioned matches feature legitimate contenders facing off against one another.
Okay, and the only time we've seen him in the ring in that span is for an exhibition with Roy Jones Jr. I mean, come on, man. You know, listen, Tyson could hurt anybody. He hit him catching right, he could hurt anybody, and I'm not dismissing that. But he hasn't been fighting, and Jake Paul hasn't fought any real ranked professional boxers. why should this be a sanctioned boxing match?
Stephen A. Smith's stance on the upcoming match remains firm, as he expresses both criticism and recognition for the roles of both fighters. While Smith disagrees with the organization of the match, he acknowledges Jake Paul's impact on boxing's popularity and calls for a more focused approach to Paul's boxing career. Smith acknowledges the positive influence Jake Paul has had on the sport of boxing by bringing attention to it and demonstrating that fighters can promote themselves effectively. He recognizes Paul's efforts in expanding the audience for boxing and challenging the traditional role of promoters in the sport. However, Smith emphasizes the need for Paul to demonstrate a genuine commitment to his development as a boxer. He urges Paul to clarify his intentions and goals within the sport, whether they are primarily financial or centered on personal growth and achievement.
I like Jake Paul.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what he does for the sport of boxing in terms of bringing attention to the sport and showing you could do it promoting yourself as opposed to being at the mercy of promoters. The flip side to it, however, is that he keeps telling us how serious he's taking this and how bad he wants it.
Right.
Well, okay, if you want the money, man, please keep doing your thing.
Smith suggests that if Paul truly wants to elevate his level as a boxer, he needs to face opponents who are more closely matched to him in terms of age, size, and skill level. He advises Paul to seek out challengers who are actively competing in the modern era of boxing, rather than facing opponents who may be smaller or less experienced. Moreover, Smith stresses the importance of Paul testing himself against legitimate opponents to accurately gauge his skills and progress as a boxer. While he acknowledges that Paul may not be ready to face elite fighters like Canelo Alvarez or Dimitri Bivol, he encourages Paul to seek out opponents who can provide meaningful challenges and opportunities for growth in the ring.
If it's not just about that, and if it's about you wanting to elevate your level, then you got to get in the ring with somebody of your ilk, your age, you know, your size, because he's fought dudes who were smaller than him, by the way, and stuff like that. You got to do that.
Overall, Smith applauds Jake Paul's contributions to boxing's visibility, but urges him to take a more focused and deliberate approach to his boxing career, emphasizing the importance of facing credible opponents and continuing to develop his skills in the ring.
I'm saying, how about fighting lesser guys who are challengers to see how you measure up against them? Ain't nobody asking him to go into the ring with some Canelo or Bivol or Better Biev or somebody like that. Right. Ain't nobody asking him to do that. But you could get into the ring with dudes who are actually fighting professionally in the modern day era.
Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen has been making waves with his outspoken views on the upcoming showdown between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Previously, he stirred controversy by alleging that Tyson had fabricated his sparring footage. Now, Sonnen is drawing parallels between the seasoned Iron Tyson and the UFC's triumphant returnee, Conor McGregor. Initially, the seasoned NCAA wrestler debunked the misconception surrounding power being the final attribute to fade, dismissing it as a ridiculous comparison. He proceeded to be straightforward, highlighting how age inevitably affects even the most experienced fighters like Tyson, suggesting that his optimal strategy would be to aim for a knockout, akin to McGregor's approach in his fight against Michael Chandler. He expressed, "It is the same situation that Conor McGregor is going into with Michael Chandler. I can't go to a decision and win, and I don't give a damn about moral victories. I'm going to give you everything I got, and I'm going to get you out of here, or I'm going to be done. I'm going to be shot." Honestly speaking, Sonnen isn't off base with his assessment. Tyson's edge won't be quite as keen as it once was, particularly considering he'll be 58 just weeks prior to the bout. Reflexes, hand-eye coordination, speed, and strength inevitably diminish over time, and for Tyson, securing a knockout is imperative to affirm that he's still got it. As the younger generation would put it, Sonnen's perspective adds an intriguing layer when we juxtapose it with McGregor's situation. Despite being beyond their peak performance, they'll need to embrace a risky approach, aiming to swiftly dispatch their adversaries to sidestep exhaustion. Despite the advantage the 2-minute rounds offer the seasoned boxer, Tyson's stamina might falter, reminiscent of his exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. Meanwhile, Oscar De La Hoya recently shared his concerns regarding the upcoming bout in an interview with TMZ Sports. While expressing his admiration for Tyson, De La Hoya emphasized the potential dangers of the match and urged caution for the former heavyweight champion. De La Hoya acknowledged Jake Paul's status as a legitimate fighter, but underscored the risks involved in facing an opponent of Tyson's caliber, particularly given Tyson's age and the physical demands of professional boxing. He appealed to Tyson to approach the fight with caution and to prioritize his safety above all else.
I'm going to pray for Mike Tyson because I love Mike Tyson.
Right.
You know, I think Jake Paul, look, he's a real fighter. He really is. It's a dangerous fight. Mike Tyson, be careful. please.
Despite his reservations about the fight, De La Hoya maintained his respect for Tyson and his enduring legacy in the sport of boxing. When asked whether he believed the bout could tarnish Tyson's impressive reputation, De La Hoya adamantly rejected the notion. He asserted that Tyson's legacy is firmly cemented in boxing history and that no single fight, regardless of the outcome, could diminish his status as one of the sport's all-time greats.
Last. If Mike loses, could this potentially ruin his reputation?
No, Mike Tyson has cemented legacy forever.
So you think even with a loss? No, well, we're not saying it's a loss, but we're saying hypothetically,
right.
if he loses, you're saying that he's going to get away scot-free. Everyone's going to just remember the old Mike, not this new.
Mike Tyson will be the man forever.
As you can see, De La Hoya's comments reflect a mixture of concern for Tyson's well-being and unwavering confidence in his enduring legacy as a boxing legend. While he may not endorse the match with Jake Paul, he remains steadfast in his belief that Tyson's contributions to the sport will forever be remembered and celebrated. Similarly, Teddy Atlas, a highly respected figure in the world of boxing, has raised significant concerns regarding the upcoming bout. Despite the official sanctioning by the Texas Boxing Commission, Atlas harbors doubts about the legitimacy of the match, primarily due to the considerable age gap between the two fighters and the unconventional rules being implemented. Atlas thinks that the significant age difference raises questions about the fairness and safety of the contest, particularly considering Tyson's status as a retired fighter with limited recent activity in the ring. Moreover, the rule alterations introduced for the bout have further fueled skepticism within the boxing community. The decision to adopt 8 2-minute rounds, as opposed to the traditional 3-minute rounds, and to use heavier 14-ounce gloves instead of the standard 10-ounce gloves, deviates from established professional boxing regulations. Atlas expressed his reservations about these rule changes and questioned the legitimacy of labeling the bout as a professional fight.
I mean, not just me, right? Or Ken, right? We have company, right?
Disqualified, knocking out the
I just
opponent.
thought it was a good way to break the ice here with the show to start off. And the other rules are 8 2-minute rounds, not 3-minute rounds, 2-minute rounds, and 14-ounce gloves, not 10-ounce gloves. Normally pro fights are 10-ounce gloves and no headgear, which is normal for, a pro fight. Here's my question. How do you call it a professional fight if the rules you're using are not professional rules?
Atlas highlighted the discrepancy between the rules being employed and those typically observed in professional boxing matches, suggesting that the alterations undermine the integrity of the sport. Atlas's concerns extend beyond the technical aspects of the fight to encompass broader ethical considerations. He voiced apprehensions about the potential for the match to be perceived as a mere cash grab, exploiting the popularity of both fighters for financial gain. Moreover, Atlas emphasized the inherent risks associated with Tyson's participation, warning of the potential for serious injury given his age and relative inactivity in competitive boxing. While the Tyson-Paul showdown undoubtedly promises to captivate audiences and generate significant interest, Atlas's commentary underscores the need for careful consideration of the implications of such high-profile matchups.
Maybe they're in the non-binary category, given that it's 8 2-minute rounds. I'm sure the women will be happy to see someone stepping down to the shorter rounds.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, Ken. All I know is I'm really not trying to be, to pick at anything. I'm just putting the news out there, and I'm breaking it down as is our way of doing things on this show. You're calling it a professional fight. We didn't know if it was going to be professional or not. They decided to sanction it as a professional fight in Texas. But it's not the professional rules of a professional fight. It's not 3-minute rounds. It's 2-minute rounds. It's not 10-ounce gloves. It's 14-ounce gloves. Yet it's being called professional rules. Look, they could do whatever they want in boxing, right? I mean, as long as money's there, the commission's going to make money. They're going to bring money into the state. Money's going to come into the coffers for everybody.
Frank Warren, a prominent figure in the world of boxing promotion, has joined the chorus of criticism surrounding the approval of the bout between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Despite acknowledging Paul's acumen as a promoter and his ability to generate public interest and revenue, Warren expressed incredulity at the decision to sanction the fight as an official boxing match. Warren said, said, "I'm a big fan of Jake Paul as a promoter and his business partner Nikisa Badarian. They're very smart operators, and they obviously see that this fight will generate public interest and money." Tyson's recent display of his impressive physique at a gathering in Virginia, complete with a chiseled six-pack, has only served to intensify the anticipation surrounding the bout. With Tyson sharing glimpses of his training regimen on social media, the excitement among fans continues to build as the former pro boxer prepares to face off against the YouTube sensation. Speaking to TalkSport in anticipation of the fight, Warren minced no words in expressing his disapproval of the match's sanctioned status. He emphasized that at 58 years old, Tyson should not be engaging in professional fights, labeling the decision as a straightforward matter. Warren expressed astonishment at the fact that Texas had granted a license for a 58-year-old to compete in a boxing match, suggesting that such a decision might have been more palatable if the bout were categorized as an exhibition. Warren added, "But let's get it right. Mike Tyson is 58 years of age and he shouldn't be fighting. It's as simple as that. If it was an exhibition, you'd get half away with that. But the fact that Texas has licensed the 58-year-old to fight." Warren's criticism extended beyond the realm of boxing regulations to touch upon broader ethical concerns. He likened the fascination with Tyson's fight at his age to being stuck in a traffic jam on a motorway, where spectators are merely drawn to a crash without any productive outcome. According to Warren, the decision to sanction the bout reflects poorly on the boxing authorities and defies common sense. According to Warren, what does anybody need to say about that? Anyone with an ounce of brains knows that it is ridiculous. Let's get it right. You can be on a motorway stuck in a traffic jam, and you get to the end of it, and all it is people who have stopped to look at a crash, and that's what this is. Despite acknowledging the potential for an initial burst of energy from Tyson, reminiscent of his heyday, Warren predicted that the match would ultimately devolve into a contest between a 58-year-old man and a younger opponent. He cautioned against romanticizing Tyson's past achievements and urged viewers to approach the bout with a dose of realism. As Tyson and Paul prepare to step into the ring, Warren's comments serve as a sobering reminder of the need to uphold the integrity and safety of the sport. While the matchup may generate significant buzz and excitement, Warren's critique underscores the importance of considering the implications of sanctioning fights involving retired athletes, particularly those of advanced age. He further added, "What will happen for one round is you're going to get vintage Mike Tyson. He'll come out throwing bombs for one round, and then it'll be a 58-year-old guy in the ring with a younger fella." On the other hand, Floyd Mayweather has recently explained the problems with the upcoming fight. His recent critique of the Tyson vs. Paul bout has stirred controversy in the boxing world. Mayweather's reservations about the fight stem from various concerns, including the age difference between Tyson, 57, and his opponent, Jake Paul, 27.
As long as he continues to fight MMA guys and YouTubers, he's gonna continue to look good and shine. But once he fights a real fighter, a real fighter that can really fight, it's not gonna be that good.
However, Mike Tyson has responded to Floyd. His response seems to indirectly address Mayweather's skepticism. During a recent chat with Max Kellerman on ESPN's Sports Nation, Mike Tyson dropped a bombshell. "When it comes to today's boxing scene, Manny Pacquiao's matches are the ones that truly capture his attention." Tyson said, "No fighter, in the years I have witnessed, looked more sensational than Pacquiao looked the other night. Name a fighter that looked more sensational than Pacquiao the other night." When the topic of Floyd Mayweather was raised by one of the hosts, Marcellus Wiley, Tyson wasted no time in dismissing any comparison. With a tone of authority, Tyson asserted that those who equated Mayweather's skills with Pacquiao's sensational display against Rios were neophytes in boxing. Tyson said, "That shows you're a neophyte in boxing. You don't know much about boxing. No one said who was better. I said there's nobody in boxing who looked as sensational as Pacquiao looked against Rios." In the end, the upcoming match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson has sparked significant debate and controversy within the boxing community and beyond. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.